I'm Penna, guitarist of Rebaelliun from Brazil, and we are here doing an interview for What's Metal.
I am Ronaldo. I am guitarist from Rebaelliun, and What's Metal rules.
I think Rebaelliun is a pretty new band. You're together since 2 years, when I'm right. Perhaps you can sum up the history of your band.
Yeah, actually Rebaelliun is a new band. We are just playing we started the band in March 98, so we just have 2 years. But we played before in another band from 92 to 96. It was called Blessed, but we just did some promotion of this band in Brazil. So we stayed around 2 years far from the scene, from 96 to 98. And then in March 98 we created Rebaelliun with a really strong purpose to play extreme death metal. And about the rest of the history of the band, we just stayed around 6 months rehearsing in Brazil and composing songs and everything. So since we knew that Brazilian scene doesn't support any extreme metal band, we just sold everything we had in Brazil, like clothes and everything, and to come over Europe to get some promotion, and something like a label and some promotion in magazines, radio stations, and everything. So we come to Europe in November 98. We stayed 3 months. We played 19 gigs in Belgium, Holland, and Germany. And during this trip, we got a deal with Hammerheart Records from Holland, and now they released our first CD, which is called Burn the Promised Land. And now we are here in Europe again, playing a whole tour with Limbonic Art and Mystic Circle. And I think that for the upcoming years, we have hard work.
You just told that you sold everything back home. Where do you live right now?
Things are very hard in Brazil because if you are born in a rich family, so you have conditions, to study, to get a good job, and to get a decent life. If you are not born in a rich family, you have to do everything by yourself, because we don't have any support from the government and everything. So since we play extreme death metal and it's not a popular style in Brazil, we have to do everything by ourselves. So we sold everything we had because it was the only choice, it was the only way to keep the band going on. Then we returned to Brazil, and we have some support from some friends and our family also. When they can, they are supporting us also. But it's not a good condition to live. But we just wanna play, It's our only intent.
Thank you first of all for sending me your promotional CD, the At War MiniCD. It was a promotional tape in the beginning, I think. It has a very good sound quality. It was recorded in Brazil. I think it's a bit unusual to have such a good sound quality recorded in Brazil. Is that right? What can you tell us about the studio conditions?
So I think we got very good sound with MCD At War. Because we really know what kind of song we want, we expected. So we did everything to go direct to the point. And I think Penna works with audio on the past. He did a lot of works with audio in recording studios. So he had a lot of experience about it. So it helped us a lot.
You recorded the new studio album in the same studio, when I'm right. So it's is it a major studio in Brazil for metal bands?
No, it's a kind of very very small studio, and they just record Brazilian music, commercial Brazilian music. So I just have to say that the engineer is a very, very cool guy, and I think that he understood what we need. So I have a little experience with studios also, and we are into the metal scene a lot of years. So every time listen to good albums, and you create a kind of you know what you want. If you listen to Morbid Angel, they have good recordings, and we are influenced by all this kind of work. So we are always looking for such sound, like Morbid Angel or this side. We know that it's not so good, but it was the best we could do in Brazil.
The two songs from that MiniCD I just mentioned before also are included on the long player now. Was it planned from the beginning that these songs will be included, or it's I think for the people who bought already the MiniCD, it's perhaps it's a rip-off. I don't know.
Yeah, I cannot understand, but at War MiniCD, I think that Hammer Heart pressed 3,000 copies, but it was more for promotion, So they just sold the MCD for a very, very cheap price, and then we know that the tracks at War and Spawning the Rebellion are very good tracks, and since the beginning, since we signed with Hammer Heart, we knew that we wanted to record those songs again, because they are great, and we think that on the album we have a kind of different version. They are faster and more extreme, and I think that if people who bought the MCD M2R, they will like again the songs on Burn the Promised Land.
And did you have any other offers besides the deal with Hammerheart, or was it the only choice you had?
We had some other offers from some European labels, but really listenable records from France and other ones. But Hammerheart, they did the best offer, and they were the only one label who said us you can go on tour, and it's the most important for Rebaelliun, because we know that we are a good band on stage, and it's for us it's very important to come over Europe to show our stuff on stage, because if we are just in Brazil rehearsing and everything, the band is not going on. We think that the band has to play a lot every time, playing on stage, and festivals and tours and everything. And since we don't have this kind of tours in Brazil, we have to come over Europe. So Hammerheart, they offered us this possibility to come over again, to play a whole tour, and it was the most important point which we signed with them.
Okay, how was it possible to do that trip to Belgium and play 19 shows, or what you just said? You needed to have some contacts to Belgium. Who organized it, or?
We just had a few phone numbers and some addresses, and there's a guy who helped us a lot. It's Christoph Spagel. He's very famous all over the world, and we just landed in Brussels, and 4 days later we are in Ghent, in a city in Belgium, and there's a pub called Frontline over there. And we just went there, and so we just asked to play,
Just show a tape, the promo tape, to the owner of Frontline, and she enjoyed it very much. So some days before we played there.
You also did 2 support shows for Deicide. How was that possible?
It was a bit funny, because when we knew that Deicide was supposed to play a European tour, we were thinking about to go over there to see them on stage, because we never saw Deicide before in Brazil, and we are very fans of this band. So we are just planning a trip to see them on stage, and then Spagel, he told us, hey, you have to ask the agency to play with Deicide, and I just talked to myself, it's impossible. But he told me a lot of times, and I phoned the agency, and they said, okay, you can play 1 gig with them in Belgium. So we played the gig, and it was very, very great. And then they invited us to play again in Germany, in Essen. And for us it was a very good promotion. We played in front of a lot of people and everything.
I think it happened because our music is very strong. So we believe a lot in our music, and I think our music opened several doors for us, you know.
Burn the Promised Land is available in different versions. When I'm right, I saw it at the table back there. Or was that meant for T-shirts?
No, the album is just you have just the CD and the LP, and it's just it. And I think that Hammerheart is doing some T-shirts and everything, but the album is just on CD and LP. We don't have a different version.
I saw a sign back there which said 3 different versions available, but I don't know what it referred to.
Maybe T-shirts, but not the CD, not the album.
It's funny because they put that sticker on there, so I don't know. Okay, there is one song on the full length called Flagellation Christ, which is an instrumental song, a bit experimental. Who came up with the ideas and who did the keyboard parts on it?
The keyboard parts were recorded by a friend called New, and he just went to the studio, and we showed him the song, and we just told him what we wanted in the song. You know, it's not very difficult keyboards. It's easier to play. So he just played what we wanted, and the idea about the song, it was conceived a lot of time. A long time ago, we we knew before that if we had conditions to record a full-length album, we wanted to record an instrumental song, you know, just to make some difference on the album, not every time blast beats, and you know, I think that it's good for the fans, you know. And so we composed the song, I think that 2 weeks before the recordings, and some parts we changed on the recordings. And we think that it's a great track, different.
About the name of this track, we were looking for to some inspiration. We were looking for in books, and so I saw some figures on a book of Italian old figures. So I saw a picture of called Flagellation Christ, and like a Christ on a wall being scourged by Romans, and so we are very much inspired by this picture. So we composed some parts, and after we developed these parts and put together, and so this track was created.
Yeah, the album is called Burn the Promised Land. What is the Promised Land for you? Is it a statement against religion, or?
Yeah, the Promised Land. This word is supposed to be the Promised Land, but the Promised Land is everywhere, because it's just a subject idea, you know. Promised Land, well, burn the Promised Land is something against any religious dogmas, you know, any moral dogmas. So we can we want to put something really strong against any kind of dogmas and moral and anything that don't get you freedom. The most important thing is freedom. You cannot be narrow-minded, you know. You have to be to make your own decisions. So I think religions, if you are into a religion, you have to follow some laws, and I don't believe in any laws, just my own laws. Our own laws. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. How strong is the power of maybe the Christian church in Brazil? Do they have any influence on you in your private life?
Yeah. Brazil is a very poor country, so you can imagine that it's easier to the church, to the Christianity, to get everyone in the church, you know, because if you don't have money to eat, your mind is totally fucked, you know. So it's easier to follow a God or a Christ or anything. So they have a very good, strong influence in our country, and I think that in Europe it's the same, but not so strong that in Brazil. So we don't care about religions and anything. We are just playing our music because we believe in a kind of freedom, as Ronaldo told us before.
I think since the religions was created, since the civilization was created, the religions getting a lot of power, and they try to control everybody. In third world, it is very common to see people, fanatic people in the church, giving money, few money that they have, they give to the church, and they live in a shit life. So, and when the first Catholic people come to Brazil in the, I think, century 14, they destroyed all the culture of the real people that live at the moment. They are the Indians, the Indians. They destroyed their culture and their beliefs. So we really hate the religions. I think you have to conserve your culture. It is very important.
What do you think is typical for a Brazilian culture?
Sorry?
What is typical for a Brazilian culture? I think Brazil, it's the origin of the Brazilian state. I think it's dependent on a lot of European influences also. And what is typical Brazilian?
The typical Brazilian culture is just the Indians, but they don't exist anymore. So we have a lot of different influence from Italy, from Germany, from Portugal. They were the first ones in Brazil, and also from Africa, because at the beginning they brought slaves to work in Brazil. In I think that 500 years ago. And so we have a lot of different cultures all mixed, and it's a kind of unique race, It's, if you walk in the streets in Brazil, you see people like European, people like people from Africa, and everything. It's everybody is different in Brazil,
I think Brazil is an unusual country because we have a lot of cultures mixed, and you don't have any kind of fight between amongst the different cultures. What happened was a kind of mixed, and a total different culture was born. So when you mixed Portuguese with Italian and Indians, something different, different culture rise up.
Back to the long player. What does the cover artwork show? Is it a volcano or what is it?
Yeah, it's a kind of volcano and some effects with fire, and it's. I think that it means the title of the album, Burn the Promised Land. But really, we didn't have so much time to develop a better idea, But we are totally satisfied with the cover, and I think that if you see the cover, if you listen to the album, if you know the title of the album, everything is it's together. It makes sense.
I think it's the image of chaos. We were looking for an image of chaos, chaotic and apocalyptic. So we did it with this picture.
The promotional copy I have, on the back cover, there is a sign. It looks like this. I don't know if there is a name for that. Has that a certain meaning?
This figure is a cross. Is a satanic symbol. We used it because we use it like a weapon against the Christianity, just the symbol against the Christianity. I saw it in the Black Bible, from Eliphas Anton LaVey. Sorry. So some statements of satanic talk I'm very close from some statements. Be free. Don't believe don't believe in anyone. You're all redeemer. So something like that. So I was influenced by this book, and we used this figure to to bash me against the religions.
You are from Porto Alegre, and as far as I know, most of the Brazilian scene is located in towns like Sao Paulo. Is that right? Is there a certain reason for it? Is it the center for metal in Brazil?
Oh, it's the center of the country, so everything happens in São Paulo, you know, and it's just not the metal scene, but everything, you know, factories and TV and everything in Brazil happens in São Paulo. It's the center of the country, but especially metal scene is more developed in São Paulo. You know, you have bands like Crisium living over there, and Abhorrence, Sophiatry, good Brazilian bands that are rising up. They are living in São Paulo, and also Sepultura. At the beginning of their career, they moved to São Paulo to get more conditions and to get more promotion. All the magazines from Brazil are located in São Paulo. The radio shows are in São Paulo. The best shops are in São Paulo. So we are just not living in São Paulo because it's for us at this moment it's pretty expensive to move there and to get a place to stay there and everything. But maybe in the future we will stay some months over there to get more promotion in our own country.
What is the status of Sepultura right now in Brazil? Are they still considered to be a Brazilian band?
Yeah, they are a Brazilian band, but you know, the fans are not the same that some years ago. Now every boy or girl can listen to Sepultura. You know, it's not more into the metal scene, but they are in all the magazines and they appear in some TV shows. And I think that they are the most famous rock band in Brazil. You know, they are not more a metal band, but a rock band. You know. So I think that they have the same promotion in Brazil that Rolling Stones in Europe, something like that. They are very, very famous. Everybody knows them. So the metal scene, they don't respect more Sepultura. It's a pity.
Okay. You already mentioned that there is no interest for real extreme metal in Brazil. But I think there exists an underground scene or something similar. How are the connections there? Are you in contact with any other good bands that deserve our attention, perhaps?
Yeah, of course. We don't have a real scene, you know, with fans, with good festivals or good gigs, because we don't have any conditions to do that. If we can arrange some good gig, people don't have money to go to this gig, so you are fucked with money and everything. So we have very good bands, and I think that Brazilian metal scene is rising very, very fast, because Crisium, they got a lot of promotion all over the world. So now all the bands are thinking we can do the same. And since last year, Rebaelliun again is we have again a lot of work to do with the band, and the other bands are seeing everything that is happening with us. And they just think if Crisium got, if Rebaelliun is getting, we can do all the same, you know. So we have very good bands like Abhorrence, Sophiatry, Mental Horror, Nefast. Yeah, very, very good and extreme bands. And Ancestral Malediction, Funeratus. And I think that on coming years we will have the most extreme scene all over the world. Like you have today from USA, you know, Morbid Angel, Dayside, Nile, Incantation, Angel Corpse. Maybe in the future we will have the same in Brazil, you know, a respected scene.
Okay. Yes, we did. We played one song of Metal Horror in our radio program already. They sent us a demo CD of their. I don't know it. It's a tape, I think, an original version, but he made a CD for us. Yeah. Okay. You play immensely fast. It's you also do this live, or you can bring that live speed also, and I'm really impressed. How do you practice? I think there has to be a certain technique to play this speed live.
I think the most important thing is not the technical thing, but the most important is the feeling. All the evil that you have inside, all the hate you have inside, you have to explode these feelings to the people, you know. So I think the people be impressed by our music because we are just getting our all chaos. So I think this is why people enjoy our music, and this is why we play so fast and brutal.
Yeah, but of course, the feeling is the most important thing for us, because we always are telling that if you don't have the feeling to play death metal music, you will never play death metal music. You know, it's just not technical. You know, you have to play with our fury and wrath on stage or on the rehearsals or when we are exercising at home. But of course, we have to exercise every day on the instruments and to play fast and to have better conditions to play, because it's as you must know, it's not easy to play death metal, as maybe a lot of people think that it's just noise, you know, but it's really not easy to play death metal. Also the guitars and the drums are more difficult, and we are rehearsing a lot and we are improving our music every day, because we wanna improve our music, not just fast, but we just want to improve this style, death metal.
I think it's like when you practice martial arts, you know, you have to do it every day. But the secret is not your strength or your technique. The secret is in your mind, not in your fingers or whatever.
I'm really impressed how you get this balance between aggression and this technique, because you have to be concentrated on your instrument. Right? Yeah. So it's difficult to combine that with all the aggression you want to spread in the audience, but I really liked it. Okay. Our program is called What's Metal? What is metal for you? What is the essence of metal?
Metal for me, it's more than music. It's a way to live, a way of life. You can be free. You can do what you want to do, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people who think in a different way. You know, they think that metal is just another style of music that can sell very well. You know, some labels that just want money. But metal it's a real way of life for me and for all the band. You know, we are living for metal. We are giving everything we had for metal. We are spending our time for this band and for the metal scene. And I'm sure that we will get the response in the future. Not now, but in the future.
Metal for me is something that can change your life, and is something that can give you force and can teach you how to be really strong and believe in yourself. I think the most important thing, as Penna told, is metal is not just music; it's a way of life. It's a choice. You can do the difference.
Okay, that's it. By the way, you speak a very elaborated English, I would say. It's quite okay. Where have you learned it?
By ourselves. We just learn a little in the school, but English in Brazil it's not a popular language. It's ridiculous. We just learn Portuguese, that it's our natural language, and a little English, but not so much. But when we decided to come to Europe, we started to learn more about the language at home with some books and everything. But it's not still okay. We are learning every time we come to Europe. We can learn a little more, you know.
We hope to improve our English next time, because we know we did a lot of mistakes when we were speaking, but I think the most important thing is when you are trading informations, and so you can speak with signs, and if you speak just some words in English, we can communicate.